Did you know that most people think the only way to make brownies that are perfectly fudgy is to dump in a mountain of butter, refined sugar, and eggs? Enter the ultimate sweet potato brownies. These have the rich chocolate-forward punch of a fudge brownie, but with just enough structure to slice them cleanly. It's not too dense and nowhere near dry. It's the perfect bakery style brownie with a superfood hidden right in the center. Let's talk about what you're gonna need to make this. We're gonna need sweet potatoes, of course, maple syrup, a neutral oil, I used coconut oil here, almond or peanut butter, vanilla extract, apple cider vinegar, sea salt, cocoa powder, you can use regular or Dutch processed, oat flour, optional, all-purpose flour too, baking powder, baking soda, espresso powder, which is also optional, but enriches the flavor, and dark chocolate chips. We're starting with our prep, beginning with 2 sweet potatoes. Before these hit the oven, we're going to repeatedly poke them with a fork. Poking them with a fork, small step, but crucial. Little air pockets are going to help the steam escape while they roast. But say you don't do this, they can literally explode, and it makes a mess. And it is definitely not something I've been banned in the past for from the kitchen. Mom, just earmuffs this part. I probably should have told her to do that before. Get these in the oven and roast them until they're fork tender. And while roasting, we're going to make our own oat flour. Now, if you have oat flour on hand or almond flour, you can skip this step. But I wanted to show how super simple it is. Just dump rolled oats into a blender and let it rip. I said that rip part to one of my daughters, and then she's like looking around the blender like, Dad, what am I ripping? Basically, you're letting this blend until it turns into dust, and that's it, you're done. With our potatoes roasted, pull them out and separate them from the skin. I grab a measuring cup and squeeze the flesh inside. This helps me know exactly how much I need for the perfect moisture level. Also, my camera died at one point, so you kind of missed the whole pulling it out of the flesh and squashing part, but you get the point. Now, you might be looking at your screen saying, Andrew, seriously, sweet potato, really? But I want to talk about the science really quick because it's actually wild how this works. You see, when we roast sweet potatoes, we're actually breaking down their complex starches into natural sugars. When those sugars hit the cocoa, they create this fiber-rich matrix that mimics the density and moisture that you would typically get from eggs and butter in a recipe. So basically, the sweet potato holds the fat and the moisture together so the brownie stays fudgier for days instead of drying out. And no, the brownies do not taste like sweet potato. Anyway, back to it. Let's prep our 8x8 tray. I'm lining this with parchment paper, but I make sure to leave the excess paper hanging over the sides, like wings. And these are little clips that I use to keep the paper down for when I'm pouring the batter in later. You do remove these prior to putting it in the oven though. I do this trick every single time. It just makes life so much better. When the brownies are done, you can simply just remove them. Using the wings and you got the entire block out of the pan. No scraping the corners, no broken bits, no messing up the pan because you're sawing it with your knife. Okay, in a large mixing bowl, we're starting out with our wet ingredients, adding the mashed sweet potato, maple syrup to follow, oil, almond butter, vanilla extract, apple cider vinegar, and a pinch of salt. Whisk that until it's completely smooth. You want a little bit of aeration here, so don't be afraid to put some elbow grease into it. For my younger crowd that watches and follows along, not real elbow grease, okay? keep that grease for your elbows. And maybe your kneecaps, but definitely not for food. Now, in a separate bowl, we're combining our dry ingredients. I'm using a sieve to act like a sifter to make sure there's no clumps. Add in your Dutch process cocoa powder, oat flour, or almond flour. If you want a little bit of all-purpose flour, that's gonna help with structure, but if you wanna keep it gluten-free, use only oat or almond. Baking powder, baking soda, and another secret ingredient, a touch of espresso powder. Again, totally optional, but it does deepen the chocolate flavor in a way that just makes it pop. Now, slowly sift the flours and powders into the bowl. If you see some larger bits left in the sieve, just gently push them through with your fingers. If they won't budge, don't force it. Just toss the excess. From here, we're going to bring the dry bowl over to our wet bowl and dump it all in. From here, we're gonna fold gently until it's completely combined. Take your time here. We want everything combined. No dry spots, but also no over mixing, because if you really beat the heck out of this batter, you're going to lose the potential lift that you were going to get, or I should say that we were looking for. Now, fold in your chocolate chips, and when you're ready, dump the batter into your prepped baking pan and smooth out the top, pressing it from end to end. From here, I like to sprinkle a few extra chips on top before it goes in. It's purely aesthetic and tasty, but it also gives you that professional bakery looking vibe. Once they're completely done, bring them out and let them cool completely. Listen, the temptation here is very real. And don't listen to that little voice telling you, cut it right now, cut it while it's hot. But more like a parent of young children, let them rest. I actually recommend letting them cool completely, then toss them in the fridge for about 30 to 60 minutes. And if you do that before slicing, you get those razor sharp edges, clean cuts and good vibes. Now, I actually made 2 batches for this video. The first batch was the original recipe. This leans a bit more dense and fudgy. Now for the second batch, I simply doubled the recipe, which gave me a bit more height and that cakey structure that I love personally. But listen, both options are delicious. It really depends on your brownie preference. And there you have it. Rich, chocolatey, fudgy, not too cakey, and packed with hidden superfood goodness, sweet potato brownies. The ultimate fudgy cakey hybrid. That's what I want out of my brownie. This full recipe can be found linked in the description, or you could head straight on over to my website, makeitdairyfree.com. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Until next time, believe in good. Peace.